What's going on, mates? How are we? Dr. Rattle here. And just to clarify things, doctor here means death of the ego. Nothing here to prove, because here at the Rattle Playhouse, we know we are bone. Yeah? And R means rebirth of our inner child, our sweet little innocent child, our unapologetic self. And just some examples would be when you were a kid, wearing your dad's tie or his work jacket, or putting on your mom's makeup, or singing in the shower off key, like just being you. Just being your beautiful self. So, welcome to the ER Playground. I see you, Rattle B 6D. So, ER is embodied release. I see you, and more importantly, it means inner child unlocked. And Rattle B is my inner child superhero, and Rattle B equals truth. So, and 6D means unconditional love. Yeah, and that is what we pour out. It's unconditional love. So, if you vibe with this medicine, this soul medicine, I invite you to maybe consider becoming a rattler. And our philosophy here is pretty simple. Movement is medicine, and we believe issues are in the tissues. I just left the Rattle Playhouse, and I had a rattler. She met me there, and it was a beautiful soul surgery session. And we just talked about, because this is day one, we talked about the bite. So, and then after that session, I just needed to freaking move, like just holding the space for that beautiful soul, and then just hearing what she has gone through. And then I had to just shake it off, rattle it off, so to speak. So, that is where I'm at. And for those who slithered in the ER Playground with Rattle B, thank you. And thank you for showing up for you. Because here we don't ask permission, right? We don't ask permission to breathe. We don't ask permission to blink our eyes. We don't ask permission to go to the bathroom. So why in hell are we going to wait for permission to release energy that's not ours in the body to carry? Speaking of holding things in the body to carry, my father had a lot of built up emotion, energy in his body. And right now I am actually at my condo. Well, it was my dad's condo, and he gave it to me when he passed. And I don't really know how this is going to go. I feel like it's one of those topics that are very fragile to the soul. So I just want to do a walkthrough, because now we do Airbnb here, and let's get some better lighting. Okay. So anyways, I believe everything happens for a reason. My partner and I were going to come up here together, but my partner has some work calls. So I said, okay, I think I just need to do this for myself. So I am at our condo, and I feel like I'm ready to reflect on grief. I believe grief comes in so many different shades, so many different skins, and I believe it's different for everyone. But this particularly, we're talking about my dad. And so, if you ever lost someone, or maybe you are in this situation right now in your life where you are taking care of someone that you love, and you don't have to be a nurse or a doctor or a healthcare profession to do that. I think you just do it for the goodness out of your heart. Now, let's talk about my cool dad. This is him. It's funny looking at this picture because, one, I've never seen him before until after his passing. And I do remember this sled. We had in Virginia, when it would snow, we would go sledding, right? And I remember this sled very, very, like, God, just looking at this picture, I'm like, oh my God. I remember being in the sled and like turning really sharp and falling off. And I remember these, you can't see them in this picture, but towards the front of the sled, there are some really sharp, what do you call it? I don't know, like steering. I don't know how to explain it, but nevertheless, it hurts, it's sharp. But yeah, this sled was so fast. And I remember my dad and we would go sledding. Wow. How nuts. But anyway, this is my beautiful father. And, oh, I'm already getting goosebumps. And my dad loved me unconditionally. And so I think that's another reason why this is so challenging for me, because I didn't understand unconditional love, meaning I didn't understand that. I thought everyone had unconditional love. I thought, until I didn't. But being around other friends and seeing how their parents treated them, or being in other relationships and seeing how they were treated by their parents. But thank God my dad never once tried to change me. And that is fucking rare. And so I believe he taught me the best gift, unconditional love, and I pour that in everything I do. So anyway, my dad had stage 4 colon cancer. And being in healthcare, I always knew I wanted to help people. And my first job in healthcare actually was working in dietary. And so I remember working in dietary and I was bored to tears. And I'm just like, okay, there has to be another way. And so I first started working on dementia and Alzheimer's unit, and I love dementia and Alzheimer's. And what I love about it, it's just, I guess, how can I explain it? For me personally, what I really loved going into the dementia and Alzheimer's unit, going into the patients' rooms and just looking at their walls and seeing all the pictures of like their wedding pictures and their family photos, it like tells a story. And then I'm a hopeless romantic, so I'm like, oh my God, that's what I want. Oh my God, so cool, so beautiful. And there is this one patient that I really, really, really just clicked with. And I think because he looked so much like my grandpa, my dad's dad. And when I moved out here, I was taking care of my grandpa. I was helping him shower and shaving him and cutting his nails. Anyway, so I've always had this care in my soul just to help people. And I left dietary, and I saw this patient, and I'm like, oh my God, I really want to help him because he was struggling to eat. Another thing, it's just so mind-boggling, the things that I feel like maybe some of us take for granted, but it's like, fuck, I don't want to get old. I don't ever want to have something tragedy to happen to me where I have to relearn something again, like walking or eating or getting dressed. So every day when I wake up, I'm saying, thank God, let's create, because why not? So anyway, I went up to the patient, or the resident, I should say, and they were like, no, you can't feed him. You have to be a CNA or... And I'm like, yeah, fuck that. I'm not being no CNA. And so then I was a resident helper. And basically what a resident helper does is that they deliver mail, they answer call lights, they fill up ice. And that I really enjoyed until I was like, I want to do more. And then I went to CNA school, certified nursing assistant. And I really, really, really loved it. Like, loved it. And I think the reason why I waited so long to go to nursing school is because I saw the stress the nurses carried and the responsibility. And I'm like, fuck that. So anyway, I've always had this care in my soul to help others. And so fast forward, when I found out my dad got sick, I was in my last quarter in nursing school, and my aunt calls me. And so if anyone's ever gone through nursing school or just school in general, you know, it's challenging. Or just a lot. Like if you're working and you're doing school, you're trying to balance school, work, friends. It's just a lot to balance, at least for me. So anyway, my aunt calls me and she's like, hey, are you driving? And I said, yes. And she says, can you pull over? I need to tell you something. And I'm like, okay. And so she tells me that my dad has stage 4 colon cancer. And honestly, my mouth dropped. I couldn't fucking believe it. It's like you see patients that have cancer, or you watch movies that has cancer in it. But God, when you find out that someone that you know or someone that you love has it, it hits you like fucking lightning. And I don't know the exact wording, but I was just like, wow, like I was really terrified because my dad didn't take care of his health. And so I was concerned about his immune system trying to fight cancer. So anyway, I got off the phone, and my dad and I were so close. I remember, so every Tuesday my dad would call me, and I would call him, and we would talk. And this is when I was dancing I used to be a go-go dancer. Why not? And so, which, by the way, I hated. But I just needed to make some extra cash, but more importantly, I just loved moving my body. But anyway, my dad did not like me working at the bar. And he was like, just be careful, keep your head on the swivel. He's like, you know, you have to be at work at 6 a.m. tomorrow. You shouldn't be out late. Dad, I hear you, and thank you. God, doesn't it feel good just to have someone to care for you? So anyway, my dad and I talked all the time. And in this condo, I lived with my dad for a bit, in that room straight ahead. And I was never really here. But even when I was here, my dad's, you coming home tonight? You gotta work tomorrow. Dad, I know. But just that unconditional love, and to feel cared for, and to feel seen. So anyway, my dad got sick very, very, very quickly. We found out he had stage 4 colon cancer in September. He passed October, literally the next month. Just like that, Rattlemates. And so, I was studying for boards for nursing, and I was fucking stressed out. God, I was stressed out. And so my dad actually checked himself into the hospital, and he drove himself. And God, and just to back up for my own stuff, like when I was talking to my dad on the phone on Tuesdays, he would tell me a lot that he had a hard time hearing, and he had some bowel issues. And my dad would always say, "I'll go to the doctor tomorrow," or "do this tomorrow. And unfortunately, tomorrow ran out. And I also believe there is going to be a day where my tomorrow runs out. But right now, in this present moment, I'm here. So I remember visiting him at the hospital, and it was so interesting seeing my dad in a hospital setting. And it was so weird being the family member inside of the hospital setting, because normally I am the one that's working and taking care of the patient or the resident. The family comes in, and so it's interesting being on the other side of it. So anyway, yeah, my dad was in the hospital for like a week or so, and he has some really powerful spirits, meaning like, I'm going to get out of this, I'm going to be okay, I'll be home soon. And I said, okay, Dad, let's do it. And so, anyway, it's one of those moments where the nurse or the doctor, I believe it was a doctor, told me that we can put him on chemo, and there's really nothing else more technically we can do at this hospital. And so, God, just thinking about it, so interesting. But so we took him out of the hospital, and I had to drive his car. I didn't know he drove until like later on. I thought he thought he called 911, but he drove himself to the hospital. And when I got into the car, his car, I mean, it was just so... I'll tell you what's gross, since Venom wants to throw bombing emojis. What's gross is getting in your dad's car and you see how they have been living. Because I just feel like it's an eternal dialogue. My dad did chewing tobacco, and God, the cup of the chewing tobacco was still there, the top was off, and it reeked. Oh my God, it reeked so bad. The car was just gross. It was just dirty. And I remember calling my aunt, just bawling my eyes out, just saying like, oh my God, like my dad has been living in filth, and like just going stir crazy. So anyway, I guess at that point I was a little frustrated at myself, meaning, God, how did I not see this? But knowing what I know now, it's not my goal to fix anyone. However, I did tell my dad, you should be walking more. There's Fry's literally right across the street. Move the body. I'll do it tomorrow, son. Okay, Dad. So anyway, we took my dad out of the hospital. We put him in this kind of like a group home, but not really like a group home. And I really don't know what the fuck that place was. I'm not going to say any names. There's no point in doing all that. But my aunt calls me, and she tells me that you need to go check on your dad. I don't think he's getting the good care. And I didn't want to believe that. And so I called the nurse because it's like a house, and it's a house, and there are like, what, I don't know, 3 or 4 bedrooms, and my dad was the only patient there, and they had a caregiver. And so I talked to the nurse on the phone, and she was like, yeah, your dad's in good hands, and we're going to take care of him. Don't you worry. Okay. Whatever you say, nurse. I trust you. And so, until I don't, right? So anyway, my aunt calls me again. I think you should go check on your dad. Your dad said that he's not getting good care. Okay. All right. So not to mention, I'm trying to study for fucking boards, and if anyone's taking boards, you know that thing ain't no joke. And so anyway, I'm like getting agitated because I was just going through a lot. Like, I had a roommate that wanted more than I can give them, and I was like dealing with that drama. And then I had my dad who has stage 4 colon cancer. I have graduation coming up. I have boards coming up. I have so trust and believe movement was my medicine. So anyway, I drive up to, I don't like sitting, I like standing. I drive to Mesa. That's where my dad's at. Well, that's where he was at. And, drive up, unexpected. That's the best time to get him. And my aunt meets me there. And so I actually get my dad Arby's. My dad loved Arby's, Wendy's, and that was his jam. But anyway, so I kid you not, I go in, and the caregiver is sitting down, and guess what the caregiver's doing? On the phone, scrolling, watching TV. Oh, I'm sorry. I could have sworn my dad was in the other room, and I could have sworn he needed care. So I'm telling myself, okay, I'm gonna go in the room. My dad's gonna be hair combed, teeth brushed, face washed, trash emptied, breath clean. No. Trash full, urine full. My dad's hair is greasy. My dad's face is dirty. His sheets are dirty. He had an accident. Now, I'm just thinking to myself, I could have sworn that the patient is supposed to be rotated every 2 hours. And if that is the case, why is my dad in feces? And you know what's even funnier? I asked the caregiver, and the caregiver said, that's not my job. What? That's not your job? Okay. So my dad said, I want to get out of here. I want to go home. I want to be in my condo. So I was very, very disappointed in the nurse because I trusted the nurse. And my partner told me this, and now I'm really starting to understand it. Titles and licenses, they don't mean fucking doodly squat. How many of us have been married, you do the church thing, you do the death do us part. You do the whole shebang bang, and they cheat on you, right? So I could have sworn you had the license certificate. You're married. Oh my God. Yeah. It's a piece of paper, honestly. what it is a treat. I mean, let's be real here. And so I was so angry. I was so angry at the nurse because I didn't understand how. You're getting paid the big bucks to do what? So I was talking to my aunt and I'm like, okay, we're gonna take my dad out of here and we're gonna take care of him. And my aunt, by the way, has no healthcare background, but like I said, to get to the basics is common sense. Like, treat people with respect. You don't need a doctor's degree or a nursing degree to understand that. And clearly, even when you are taught that, look what the nurse demonstrated. So, I was so angry. Because I would never do that. Like, I couldn't. And part of the reason why I'm trying to exit from healthcare because it's toxic. It's so toxic. The human body is priceless and we get paid pennies. Pennies! But my plumber can literally come to my house and make $400 in 30 minutes. Help me understand. So anyway, so I'm talking to my aunt and we call hospice. And thank God for hospice, right? Fuck. So anyway, it felt so weird calling hospice. I'm like, I can't believe this is actually fucking happening. And so hospice came here. They set up the bed. They showed us how the meds work. And I would say, like, giving my dad medication was so just, it's just interesting. So anyway, we took shifts. I would do the night shift. I would stay the night, study for boards, and my aunt would do the daytime, and then the nurse or the CNA would come here and take care of my dad. And so when I got here, I brought my dog Brody, and we would set up shop. I would do practice questions. My dad would be right here next to me, and it was to the point where I couldn't study anymore because my dad declined so quickly. And I think one of the most challenging times about my dad when I was taking care of him is that he would try to get up a lot. And my dad would be like, I need to go to the bathroom. And I'm like, okay, Dad, we can try. However, I don't know if you are strong enough, but we can try. In my brain, I knew it wasn't a good idea. However, I feel like there's like a dignity issue where you just can't go to the bathroom anymore, or you can't drive anymore, or walk anymore, or basically doing the things that the human mind might take for granted. And so it was just so sad seeing my dad get so frustrated when he couldn't physically get up to go to the bathroom. Could you imagine him? No, I don't want to imagine. However, maybe you are someone that has taken care of someone and you have seen the body deteriorate. You've seen the struggle. So that was really challenging for me. And they say when death is near, there's a rattle. ironically, a rattle in the back of the throat. And there have been times where I thought I heard the rattle, and I was like praying that God, please no. But I feel like not that I was losing hope, but I feel like during like late September, my dad wasn't getting any better. He was getting weaker, more skinnier. He almost looked like a damn skeleton. And so with that being said, I took care of my dad. I changed him. I gave him the best care that I feel like any human being deserves. And my aunt, she did the very best. What a sweetheart. So anyways, her and I, we did it. We did our very, very best, and it was very challenging. And so right before my dad passed, it was kind of interesting. I feel like dogs already have a really high frequency, but I feel like Brody, that's my dog, I feel like Brody knew something was going on. And I was kind of getting the heebie-jeebies because the energy felt different. So Brody, I'm already getting chills, oh my gosh. So Brody was underneath my dad's bed, and just like laying underneath the bed, I'm like, Brody, what is going on? And I felt like my grandparents' energy was here. Like there's this, I've been watching like videos of like near-death experiences, and I've been watching like nurses or doctors talk about how they see like orbs, and I truly, truly believe in all of that. And so my dad was just talking, like, and I feel like he said, Mom. I feel like he really said Mom. But my dad was also on morphine, and I mean, not a lot of morphine, but still. It's like something was there. He saw something that I didn't see. Brody obviously saw something, and the energy just shifted in the room. It was almost like, God, my hairs are standing up. It's almost like if my grandparents were here. God, that's so weird. Not weird. It's beautiful. It's divine. All of it. But anyway, and I feel like guardian angels were here that night. And so I wanted to call someone I was starting to talk to, but I didn't want to talk to anyone because I'm like, are they going to believe me? Like, I feel like there's ghost spirits in Congo, and I'm literally freaking out, and it was just it's a very interesting feeling, and maybe I'm not alone in that. So anyway, God, okay, so Saturday, my dad passed on a Monday. Saturday, I went on a date because I just needed to clear my head. I don't want to say the word stressed, but I was I was in a place. Wow. And I didn't really know how to be if I lost my dad. I think just processing that, like, oh my God, what am I going to do if my dad dies? Like, what? Like, how does the human brain even process that? And then I guess I was getting angry with God or source spirit. Like, why do we have to die? Why do we fall in love? Or why do we have these beautiful people come in our lives and then they're taken away from us? I was going through all these things. And so I remember going to Ross, buying a shirt. I went to the State Fair. I love roller coasters, and I just needed a fucking thrill in my life. And that was on Saturday. Sunday, the hospice was here again, and my dad did not look good at all. It's just like, fuck, night and day. So anyway, Sunday night, I stayed here. My aunt was here, and whew, yeah, I was supposed to take my NCLEX on Monday. No, hold on. No, Tuesday. I was supposed to take my NCLEX on Tuesday. My dad passed on Monday. And thank God I was able to watch my dad take his last breath. I held his hand, and it was just so, oh God, what's the word I'm looking for? I honestly don't know. I don't know if there's a word for it. Humbling, but also jarring and scary and bizarre. Just seeing someone take their last breath and holding their hand, and God, it's something that I would never forget, honestly. And I'm so glad that I was able to take care of my dad. I think, what a gift. Truly, what a gift. And so I remember calling the board of nursing and said, I lost my dad. Can I reschedule? I need to reschedule, take my board exam. And you know, in the perfect world, I thought that with NCLEX, especially all the times I've done those 12-hour shifts, all the times I worked for Christmas, all the time I broke my fucking back, all the time I got hit by those patients, all those times. And I got told, oh, well, you're gonna have to repay, basically I had to repay the whole fee again. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? No sympathy whatsoever. I was so shocked. I did not know that. I literally thought, I guess I was naive, but I thought they were going to work with me. Oh yeah, we can move your test out and you don't have to pay again. Nope. So I was very disgusted by the healthcare, honestly. Like, what the fuck? Like, healthcare is really fucking hard. And what's hard about it is you are expected to deal with the chaos. And I'm not just talking about the residents, from the family, from other staff. Yeah. And I was just shocked because I thought, healthcare, they'll get it, right? They'll get it. No. They didn't give a rat's ass. So, after my father's passing, I went to the bathroom to, like I always do, meaning like that's like it was like my safe haven, and to reflect in the mirror. And I remember having I put my dad's jacket on, and I still have it to this day. I literally took it with us to the road trip, because I wanted my dad's spirit to be with me when I birthed the ER playground in Rattle. And so, God, yeah, it's just weird. It's weird seeing the morgue pick up my dad. And so I feel like, okay, so anyway, I went to the bathroom, I had the jacket on, and I just had like tears. But I was also trying, and maybe someone can relate to this, I was trying to be really strong in front of my aunt, because I did not want her to see me losing my shit. And so the first thing I did, I went to the lake to go for a run. I know, right? And then my intuition said, I gotta do something to take this pain away that I'm feeling in my body. We all have our things, right? So I wanted to get, oops, wrong arm. I wanted to get a tattoo. Damn, where is it? Oh, here it is. And I got this really fucking cool snake. Right? Fuck yeah. And so here's where it gets even more juicy. So after my dad passed, it was a lot. Like the paperwork and the court stuff is exhausting as fuck. And so we had the Cox guy come out, and literally, you know what the username is on the Cox box? Dance Arrow. What? An arrow. An arrow. Let me see. I mean, what the? Like, okay, Dad, Spirit, Source, God, I see you, like, truly. But just the synchronicities of it all, and what am I all about? I don't like to use the word dance because I feel like that's very perfection, choreography, great. But we don't do that here. We rattle. So, that is what really started this whole thing, losing my father. And if that's disgusting, so fucking beat it. I don't give a shit. I'm not. I'm still shedding. And so if anyone's going through grief, I'm with you. It is a process. It is not easy. It's so not easy. And I had to create something where I can grieve. I had to create something where I can have unconditional love for myself. And that's why I have all the mirrors, because let's be real. And outside of this, there is a lot of venom, and there is a lot of nasty hatred, venom. And so you're not alone. You're truly not alone, and I'm here. I'm with you. Like, fuck. Grief is hard. Losing someone is hard. And that is why I wake up every day and say, thank you, God, Spirit, Source. Another day where I can play, another day where I can create, another day where I can surround myself with people that see me. What a gift. And all thanks to this beautiful man. You know what's also interesting? You see the color of my skin. I'm biracial. My mom is actually a little bit lighter than me, but my dad is pure white. Why is it gift? And not once, I think like growing up, maybe we had like people like looking at us weird because what is a white man doing with a little black kid? My dad didn't see any of that, meaning he didn't give a fuck. My dad wanted a child so bad he couldn't have kids, so he adopted me when I was 4. And my real biological father, who knows? Never met him. And, you know, he, how can I say this? I have compassion for my biological being. I don't even want to call him dad, but I have compassion because I'm thinking to myself, okay, he was 16 years old. I mean, it's interesting because we use sex symbols, sex sells. Really? Really? Okay, sex sells, but what about all the parents that have kids and don't want nothing to do with them? Then what? Or it's just, I don't know, that kind of rattles me a little bit because I feel like they don't talk about the consequences. Just like with alcohol, they don't talk about the consequences of alcohol. But they promote it in our fucking face, right? this is a beautiful soul. And he's within me. And he is the reason why. So this is my OG original story, if that's what you want to call it. This is what made me start to create the the ER playground, so to speak. I just needed a place where I can just be. And my dad would be so proud because it's written in the stars. So, I love you, Dad. So if you're someone out there, anyone that has lost someone, my heart goes out to you because it's not easy. And maybe next time you're in, maybe if you feel welcomed, you're more than welcome to rattle with us, rattle the grief, the anger, whatever the stories are, because I have anger, not as much, but yeah, I was really angry with booze, alcohol, healthcare, the systems at play. And so I did something about it. I created ER playgrounds where we can unbury our inner child. So if that makes me bleh, I'll take it. I don't give a shit. Anyway, much love. Take care.